Hi, my name is Ravi. Welcome to my channel Payment Talks. In this week's video, we look at detailed information with practical examples about the agents and parties involved in the ISO message. This is first of the three-part video series where we cover the payment initiating agents, ultimate debtor, initiating party and forwarding agent. In part 2, we cover payment processing agents, and in part 3, we cover additional agents. In the realm of global financial transactions, the ISO 20022 messaging standard has emerged as a cornerstone for harmonizing payment processes across banks, financial institutions, and payment systems. At the heart of these messages lies the intricate web of agents and parties responsible for ensuring seamless communication, processing, and settlement of payments. Whether it's a simple domestic transfer or a complex cross border transaction, understanding the roles of these agents, such as debtor agents, creditor agents, intermediary agents, and reimbursement agents, is critical for financial professionals. These agents not only facilitate the movement of funds but also uphold the integrity, traceability, and efficiency of the payment chain. First, we talk about the optional party, ultimate debtor. It refers to the original party responsible for the obligation to pay, distinct from the immediate debtor in the transaction. This field is used only when the payment is made on behalf of another individual or entity. The key characteristics of ultimate debtor are: CBPR premise is that an ultimate debtor has no financial regulated direct account relationship with the corresponding debtor. This optional field provides clarity about the payment's origin but does not involve in the payment settlement process. This field is used when a payment is made by trustees, agents, or subsidiaries where the actual obligation lies with a different party than the one initiating the payment. Let us look at an example. An individual X walks into a money transfer bureau with relevant private identification, example a passport, and requests a payment to be paid on their behalf to an individual Y with account in a bank. Having accepted payment for the transaction, the Money Transfer Bureau executes a payment initiation request to their agent bank. Bureau's bank is supposed to process the payment to individual Y's bank. Individual Y's bank will report individual Y on the funds received in her account. Following will be the roles of these agents and parties in ISO message. Individual X will be called as ultimate debtor. It has no financial regulated direct account relationship with Money Transfer Bureau. Money Transfer Bureau will be debtor. This bureau's account is debited by its agent. Money Transfer Bureau's agent will be called as debtor agent. Individual Y's bank is called as creditor agent. Individual Y is called as creditor. Next, we talk about the important mandatory field in ISO message, that is debtor. The debtor in ISO payment messages is the party responsible for initiating and making the payment. This is typically the entity where it can be individual, organization, or corporate customer, and sometimes bank itself, that owes the payment amount and instructs their financial institution to transfer funds to the creditor, the beneficiary. Key characteristics of debtor are: it is a direct primary party responsible for initiating a payment. The debtor's payment instruction is sent to the debtor agent, who is their financial institution, which facilitates the transfer of funds. In ISO messages, the debtor is an mandatory element. Please refer to the earlier example explained for more clarity on debtor. Next, we talk about optional field, initiating party. The initiating party in ISO payment messages is the entity that initiates the payment instruction. This party is often responsible for creating and submitting the payment request to the first financial institution in the payment chain, usually the debtor agent. Please note that the initiating party has authority to initiate payment on behalf of the debtor. Sometimes the initiating party can be debtor itself. Key characteristics of the initiating party are: this is the party that originates the payment transaction. It can act on behalf of another party, such as the debtor, or initiate the payment in its own capacity. The initiating party may or may not be the debtor. In ISO messages, this field is optional. Key point about initiating party is: when it is different from debtor, it does not involve in the payment settlement process, but including the initiating party helps ensure clarity and traceability in complex and layered payment processes. Let us look at an example. We take the earlier similar scenario and try to understand the differences. An individual X contacts a third party's payment service provider with relevant private identification, example a passport, and requests to initiate a payment to be paid on their behalf to an individual Y with account in a bank. This third party payment service provider initiates the payment to individual X bank where the debit account is individual X's account, which is held in an individual X's bank. Individual X's bank is supposed to process the payment to individual Y's bank. Individual Y's bank will report individual Y on the funds received in her account. Now following will be the roles of these agents and parties in ISO message. Individual X will be called as debtor as his account in bank is the source of funds for the payment. In previous example of ultimate debtor, there was no involvement of the individual X's account. Third party payment provider will be initiating party. This provider is not involved in the payment funds movement. It is just initiating a payment on behalf of debtor. This provider needs to have debit authority to initiate the payment from individual X's account, and this information should be communicated already to individual X's bank for smooth processing. Individual X's bank will be called as debtor agent. Individual Y's bank is called as creditor agent. Individual Y is called as creditor. Let us now talk about forwarding agent. In the context of PAIN 001 message, that is customer credit transfer initiation, the forwarding agent refers to a financial institution that relays the payment instruction from the initiating party or debtor to the debtor's financial institution, which is debtor agent. The forwarding agent typically operates as a concentrating financial institution, facilitating the transmission of the payment message within the payment processing chain. This is commonly known as a relay scenario. Note, forwarding agent is performing a technical role in the payment transaction. They would not be represented in the payments clearing and settlement. Thus, this information is not passed on in the PAX messages. Forwarding agent should have debit authority over the debtor's account. This is usually handled by tripartite agreements. Key characteristics of a forwarding agent in PAIN 001 are: it serves as a bridge between the initiating party or debtor, example, a corporate entity or individual, and the debtor agent, example, the payer's bank. The forwarding agent is not a mandatory element in PAIN 001 messages. The forwarding agent facilitates the routing of the payment initiation message, ensuring it reaches the appropriate debtor agent for further processing, but it is not involved in the payment settlement process or funds movement. Example of a relay scenario. Corporate A sends a payment initiation message to payment service provider X. The payment service provider then forwards this payment to a bank which holds the account of the corporate A. This payment is then processed to individual Y's bank and funds credit is reported to individual Y. Now, corporate A is called as debtor as its account is the source of initial funds. Corporate A can also be called initiating party as it is initiating the payment. Since it is already represented in debtor, there is no need to represent again in the initiating party. Payment service provider X is called as forwarding agent. It is just relaying the payment initiation to the debtor agent. This provider X should have debit authority over corporate A's account, and this information should be communicated to corporate A's bank for smooth processing. Corporate A's bank is called as debtor agent. Individual Y's bank is called as creditor agent. Individual Y is called as creditor. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, please like, subscribe and share for more such interesting topics on payments.